Hey guys, this is William from Wusik, and I want to talk about Roland Cloud, as Roland was nice to send me a evaluation copy, and in return, I'm going to try to talk a bit about it in a series of videos. And in this first video, I'm just going to talk about the Roland Cloud Manager, which is the first thing you're going to install. So let me open the site in here to have the Roland Cloud in here. And there are two places, the Roland Cloud website, and this is on the Roland site. And to be honest, I think this page is much better because it shows everything that comes with the Roland Cloud. And let me see where I got the list, because I got the list in here. I'm going to put a link for this too. So you have the Roland Cloud, and you have all this the stuff that comes with it. Because for me, the first time I checked the Roland Cloud, I got a bit lost on what came with it, what I could use, and the names and everything like that. And this new version here, because I checked it was like 2 years ago, I think 1 or 2 years ago. I don't recall exactly. But this version here has a lot more stuff, and I got a bit lost. So I was thinking maybe I'm going to talk about what is each thing in the Cloud Manager. So let's say you got the Roland Cloud. You go to the Roland Cloud and download the Cloud Manager, which is this guy here. And the first thing that it opens is the news. You can check it on the membership. So if I go here on the membership Ultimate, this is the one I got from Roland. It shows everything that is included. Included the Zenology Pro, modern expansion packs. There's an asterisk in here. So if I go down, so these expansion packs are to be used with the Zenology plugin. And for hardware stuff, you have to purchase the license key. So, okay, let's go step by step. If you never use a Roland product before, and I'm going to assume on this video that you never use it, because it's just easier for me to explain things. So if you already know, just ignore me talking about it. But it comes with the virtual instruments of very vintage and retro stuff from the 80s and the 90s, like the D50 is a very famous synthesizer from the 80s. Jupiter 8 is a very famous analog synthesizer. Then you have the TR-909, which is a drum machine, also very famous. But when you go to install stuff, you go to the library, you get this big list of a lot of stuff, and this list is very huge actually. So you get lost on, well, where should I start? So my advice is to go here on the series. There's the series knob next to the category here on the upper area, and you can select essentials. Then you have the Zenology Pro, the Concerto, and then ZenBeats Ultimate. So those three are software, and they're also plugins. So ZenBeats essentially is a software. I don't think the Zenology Pro and Concerto has a standalone version, I don't remember. But the real plugins comes in the Legendary area. So if you go to the Legendary, now you can see that the list is very short. So we have the D50, we have the Juno 106, Juno 60, Jupiter 8, GV1080, GX3P, ProMars, and those are all synthesizers, analog or digital. And then you have the drum machines here at the board, TR-909, 808, 606. The 303 is Exit baseline generator. It's very famous on acid songs. The System 100 is a modular synth. Sound Canvas, I don't see any use for me on this because it's just those cheap, old General MIDI sound generators, and they were good for the time. But today, I don't know. I don't use it. So, and the other guys are very nice synths. So, okay, we have the synths here. They are, if you install, they are going to be installed as plugins. So if I go here on Juno 106, I forgot to install this one. If I click to install, the sound cards I'm not going to use, and the drum machines I don't use it. So if I go to the page, I'm going to put a link on this page. If I go here on Legendary, it's going to show all the synthesizers. Juno 60 and a little bit of the description. I wish Roland put something like this on the Cloud Manager for people who are starting for the first time. Because for me to find this page was a bit hard, because on the SoundCloud page, there's nothing like this in there. There are some pictures, but not a list that is very useful and easy to see. I wish they would do this here, put pictures in here and stuff like that, and a bit of description like you have in here, but they didn't. So I'm going to put a link to this page. And we also have the SRX. This is another thing that took me a while to understand. Those are sound modules. So you can see that all sound modules for different type of sounds. So if I go here on the Legendary and change to SRX, I can see all the sound modules there. I haven't installed it yet because I haven't really tried anything like that. So I don't know if I'm going to use. But what I have installed is the Anthology. No, the Anthology I didn't install. Sorry, that's another thing. So let me try and explain a few other things, because we have the Legendary plugins, which are the very most famous stuff. Then we have the SRX, which have some modules. Then we have the Zenology. The Zenology, I think that's how it's spelled. I don't really know how to spell that. I haven't watched any YouTube video where people are talking about the name, so I didn't pay attention to that. I only watched some tutorials and Zenology maybe. I don't know. But the great thing about this plugin is that it emulates other synthesizers too. But then you get a bit of an overlap from the other plugins and this guy. But the advantage on these guys is that it's easier to check things out, easier to change a few things, because you get the same interface for everything. And then, let me go back. If you go the list here, you can see that they are going to have some products to install for this plugin. So you have the JD800, then you have some overlaps, Jupiter 8 again, 106, 101, and the GX8P. And it was a bit confusing for me, to be honest, because when I went to the list in here, okay, I can see these guys here, and then it's test drive. I don't know if Roland made a mistake in here and they don't know about it, and or maybe I am doing the test drive for it. But from what I read from the membership, I am allowed to use this because it's included on my subscription. So if I click the test drive, it says here that I install it, and I have the Pro membership, with the YouTube Ultimate Pro. So it looks like that it's included. From what I read, just the hardware version you have to pay extra. So I have confirmed on the Roland website, and seems to be like that. So I hope I didn't read anything wrong, but it seems to be like that. But if I go back to the list on the library, you can see that there are other things in here, a lot of things. Those are going to be installed to the same program, the Zenology, and it's going to be available when you open it. And I'm going to make a video just about this guy in the next video, and we'll talk more about that. And by that time, I should figure out how to spell the name correctly. And you can also see that software here. So we have the Zenology here again, and then some information about it. The Zenbits. I've used it on a tablet, the Zenbits, and it's actually very good. I don't know why it's not loaded now. And but you can do a lot of stuff on the Zenbits. And then you have the Concerto, and this is where I got a bit confused, because it's another plugin that installs, and you can load stuff to it. So if I go back to my library, there is no Concerto here on the list, but there is this guy, Flavor, and all this gets installed in the Concerto. So I don't know, Roland should really think about this for new guys, because it took me 3 days to understand all the structure of a thing. So the flavor goes into the Concerto. So if you install it, it's going to show up in the Concerto. If I go here on the list, more flavor here, you can see this is the Concerto interface, and for each of these specs is going to load in a different way. But it doesn't say that's for the Concerto. So it says here instrument for Concerto, but it took me a while to find that, because it's so many things, so much content that you can get lost. But that's okay. It's just I take a bit of extra time to figure everything out, because I'm partially dyslexic, so the way I see information is a bit different. So let's look at the list. Okay, the list here is very large. If you look, if you go to the area, those are installed as plugins too. And if you go to the ontology are samples that, if I'm not mistaken, yes, the ontology shows up in the Concerto plugin, but there's a lot of overlap, because most of this initial stuff is the same stuff that we're going to find on the Jupyter 8 plugin, the 50, Juno 106. So there's a lot of overlap in there. But then you have the orchestral stuff, which I haven't tried yet. Maybe they're good, but they're going to show up in the Concerto plugin, which is a bit annoying, because it took me a while to understand that. The AX Edge, you can just bypass if you don't have the keyboard, AX Edge keyboard, because those are songs that can be loaded in the AX Edge keyboard, but they are also loaded in the Zenology. So they should have put this under hardware. I don't know why it's not under hardware. So it's a bit annoying. Drums, I installed this acoustic one. It shows in the Concerto. I don't know why it doesn't say anything in here, because there is not a lot of information about this. Click on the name. Let me see. Okay, instrument for Concerto. Okay, I forgot to click on the name. But still, it takes a bit of extra clicking. Then you have the essentials. There's just 3 plugins. The Zenbits actually a application. Then you have the Phantom. So these are sounds that can be loaded with the Phantom keyboard. Again, we could put this on hardware, I guess. Then I have the flavor. I really forgot to click on the name. See, that's a bit dumb for my part, but Sometimes we forgot the simple things. So you can see here, instrument for concerto. But the nice thing about this video is that I'm showing you what is what and where is going to show up. So maybe you are like me and forgot to click on the names. You're not going to know what is what. The Jupiter X are also another keyboard. So these are the sounds that are going to be loaded on the Jupiter X. And they are all the same as the Zenology. So the same as Zenology, AX Edge, the Phantom, the Jupiter X. Then you have the Legendary, which is the all the plugins. The famous plugins that most people are going to be looking for. The famous drums too. Then you have the MC 101, which is also another device, a hardware device per Roland. Also don't know why it's on the library, because it could be just be on hardware instead. But I could be wrong, because I see things in a different way. MV1 is another keyboard too. If it's a digital piano, actually. Others, there's nothing others. I don't remember if there was ever anything on others. Then you have the patches. Patches are stuff that can be added to the plugins, or in some cases, hardware scenes. So it should all be started. This thing, I would think that Roland could make a bit easier, because I have to click one by one, and it's going to pop up a new window, and it's going to really get in the way if I'm trying to add everything. You can see that I have to click accept, 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 accept. That's really annoying. I wish they added an option to include everything in a single clip, because those are very small files. But that's the way I think. RD88 is another product by Roland. So it's another hardware product. You can see the category here. Hardware, software, hardware. So it's a bit mixed. But if I install it, it's going to show on the Zenology. Sampleplex, this is a bit annoying. Because I already installed everything, but it doesn't show that I have installed. Why? Because when you install it, it's going to show, let's say, cinematic hits. I'm going to click install. It's going to ask me where to install. And it's going to save a zip file. Then I have to go to that place, extract the zip file to see all the loops and stuff that are parts of the sample packs. So this was very annoying, but the sounds are very good. Just take a few extra steps to get it working. And I wish Roland just made it an application that would read the sample loops and just make available directly. But since I'm using Studio One by Presonus, I can load these WAV files with no problems. Software solutions. So there's the RMix, which is a software. Let me see if it's software solutions here. So there's the ZenBeats and the RMix. And I haven't used the RMix yet. I don't know if I'm going to. I have to take a better look at what it does and everything else. But it's an application, not a plugin. Then you have SRX, which are all plugins. I haven't installed those yet, but maybe I'm going to try a few of these guys up. You just have to check where it's going to be installed so it doesn't use all the space on my main drive. Because one problem I saw with Roland Cloud Manager is that it doesn't give you many options to where you want your stuff stored. But in the end, I uninstalled it, and then I installed it again, and then I pointed to my D drive, which is my second drive, and it started to add a lot of samples in there. But the plugins, it goes to the basic plugins folder. There's no way to set another plugins folder. And I wish it had, because it's very handy. because I already have a 1 gig of plugins just from Roland there. But it's okay, it works, so it's not a big deal. I can move if I want, but then the Cloud Manager is not going to find the plugins anymore. It's going to say that it's not installed, and it's not going to auto-update or anything like that. Not a big deal. So I also have the Terra. I don't know how to spell that, how to say that. But I installed the guitar version. Let's see if it shows here. Instrument for Concerto. So again, I forgot to check that. And it took me a while to find that it was on Concerto. The same thing for V-Drums. V-Drums is going to... actually, no. V-Drums is a sample pack. Again, messy, because now... Where's my cinematic hits and one-shots? I already downloaded, installed. It's on my D drive under samples. It's not a big deal. I just wish Roland would listen to those things and just tweak a bit the Cloud Manager, because it's already working very good. I downloaded a lot of stuff without any error. It was very great. I just wish it was a bit easier for people that are starting from zero and maybe forget to click on the product names to see where each thing goes. And then you have the Zenology. And the Zenology is all these small files. I think there's just... well, they're basically small files. Just a few. There are 100 megabytes here. Like 20 maybe. And the rest is kilobytes. So it's very nice. I haven't played a lot to see how much it overlaps with a few of the other plugins from the Legendary collection, because you have the Jupiter 8 and the Juno 106, SH101, GX8P, I think is on Legendary 2. No, the 8P is not here, but the 101 is in here, the Jupiter 8. But then, as I said, the difference is very big, because let's say if you're working with the Legendary plugin, it has one interface. Let's say on the Jupiter 8, for instance. See, where is the Jupiter 8? Here, the Jupiter 8. It has a very nice interface. But then if you get to use this Zenology plugin instead, you get more options than with the Jupiter 8 interface alone. That's what I understood. I'm still going to review the other plugins in another video, so this is one just to get my initial impression of everything, which is good. I will give 10 out of 10 for Roland on getting all this done with a very fair pricing. Some people complained about the subscription model, but you can get things with a lifetime key if you want. It's just for people starting up with a low budget, paying $20 a month. Maybe it's a better option, you know. And you can even save a bit more if you pay for the annual payment, because you're getting 2 months free here. So, okay, I think that's pretty much it what I want to say, want to show. And sorry if I mumble a lot, but I'm just trying to give you my impression of my experience getting things started. And then in the next video, I'm going to show the plugins running on Studio One, and more in depth of what each plugin does and things like that. So that's it. Thanks for watching.